You see this fucking bullshit? You see this fucking bullshit? Now, really, I shouldn't be that upset because I spent a lot of money buying oil stocks, and I've noticed that my oil stock gains have been pretty high recently in SM, SLCA, TTI, CPE, and a couple of others. But I just think for the other people, like for these poor people with these fucking Hondas and these fucking Hondas right here, I just think that this is really fucked up that regular unleaded is $4.61 and a motherfucking gallon of premium is $5.07. I'm going to order some I Did That Biden stickers, and from now on, when I go to the gas stations, I'm going to put those on the gas station thing, and I'm going to just do it in a way where nobody notices that I'm doing it, and I'm going to try to drive the outrage and the anger as much as I possibly can, because this is fucking bull. Look at this fucking shit. This thing's still going. 110. This is fucking bullshit. Those of you who ordered, or I should say pre-ordered your Cadillac Lyriq, this is the 2023 Cadillac Lyriq order form. So as you can say, I already sent in my order form. So basically, Cadillac called me and we were on the phone for a couple of minutes. So what I found out was that the, what is it called? Super Cruise, which is where the car drives itself, and the heated, cooled massage seats are standard for the most part. So the only real options were down here. So basically the first option is whether or not you're getting a rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. She assured me that there would be no markups on the car. Now, rear-wheel drive was $62,990, I should say, $62,990, $63,000, let's just round up. And the all-wheel drive is $65,000. Now, mind you, both of these options were cheaper than I paid for my Jeep SRT, just to remind you of where these numbers actually are in comparison to what I already have. Noir as an interior color is supposedly black. The option there is sky cool gray. I fought with myself about whether or not I'd want the black or the gray, and I ended up picking gray. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. But I should have picked black, but I just didn't want another black interior. I wanted something cool, something like luxurious. So exterior colors, they don't have a red option. The only thing they have is the crystal white tri-coat for $1,225, blue for $625, black for $625. I don't know how the fuck they charge you for black. I mean, I thought black was like a standard color. But what is this? Satin steel metallic is what I went with, and satin steel metallic was no extra cost. Now, coming out of a silver Jeep, I was thinking to myself, if I got one of these cars, I'd like a silver Cadillac. I love the way it's easy to keep it clean. I like silver for that reason specifically. Then there was the only other option is wheels and tires. 20 inches was no extra charge. And as far as I know, the 20-inch wheels actually take less rotations in order to make the car go. So those are actually more energy efficient. The 22-inch wheels were $1,550. I basically figured I'll get the 20s, and if I really want 22-inch wheels, which I probably won't, I could always put a custom pair of 22-inch wheels on there. So that was it. This is the entire order form for people who pre-ordered the Lyriq. This is the entire order form. There's nothing else to add. This is it. And that's basically that. It's like I ordered it, or I put in my pre-order, and then I put in my order, and this is what they're saying. So they're saying it's 312 miles, which I'm basically just going to figure it's a little less than 300 miles or 300 miles, give or take, because you'll be using the air conditioner or you're using the heater. And basically it's got a lot of the parts that you pretty much have seen in the Escalade. Now, as far as I know, I'm going to probably just go through with this and probably buy this. It's not going to arrive. They're saying it's not going to arrive until probably about January or February. Like they haven't even started building these things yet. So basically I've got like time. I mean, I've got plenty of time, and that's just that. So I ordered it. Now, some people were saying, is this for my mother? I'm not sure yet because the thing about it is her XT5 goes back in June, and we were considering whether or not we're going to refinance it. Now, the other option is I could just have her extend her lease so that the car still is on track to go back to Cadillac at the end of the lease, and we can wait until the Lyriq comes out before deciding what we want to do. So I'm going to look into that as an option about extending the lease for her car. I don't know if my mother's ready for electric. As you've probably already guessed from what I said, my next car is electric one way or another. I was looking at the Mercedes EQS. I drove the Mercedes EQS. I made videos. I'm not happy with how big the Mercedes EQS is in size. It's not big enough for me. They didn't make it the same size as my S-Class W222. So as far as I'm concerned, because they went too small on it, I don't think I could consider the EQS for myself anymore. And I liked the car. I liked driving it. It was just too goddamn small. What else? The Audi e-tron, I'm not interested in. I heard they had a lot of electrical problems with that one. They had a lot of computer issues. And then there was, what else did I drive? There's only really one other EV I'd even consider for myself right now. It's the Kia EV6. Dodge Chrysler has not shown us anything yet. And to tell you the truth, at this point, I don't know how long it's going to be until they show us what their electric car option is. I don't know what they've built. So thus far, it looks like I may end up getting a Cadillac Lyriq. That's what it looks like. Because it's not so much the gas prices that are bothering me. It's just the fact that it's a waste of my budget. Because as you know, I like to go on nice vacations. And to tell you the truth, they've been wasting so much of my goddamn money with these budgets. It's like I'm watching gas triple. I'm watching it drop back $1. I'm watching it triple. It's ridiculous. So I think the smartest thing to do is to just buy a brand new car, but, make it an electric car. So basically, the way I'm thinking about it is what I'm going to do from now on when I have family members that try to get me to go to their house and try to get me to house sit or feed their kittens or fucking pets or whatever it is. What I'm going to do is from now on, every time I get out of my car, I'm going to have a big ass electric extension cord. I'm going to have a big orange extension cord. And when I go over to people's houses, I'm going to run my car's plug like right up into their house and charge my car using their house. I'm going to obviously keep my car charged from my own house. It's just that if I go somewhere else, it's like I'm going to always have a big extension cord with me. And I just can't wait to see somebody's face when they see me get out of the car with an extension cord and just go into the house. Like, you know how kids are now? Like, when they come to your house, they're always looking for a charging port, or they're looking for some place to charge their phone. When they go over grandma's house, they're always looking for a place to charge their iPad. Well, that's going to be me, except only now I'm going to be charging my car at your house. 15 minutes ago, the House passed a bill to crack down on alleged gas price gouging. Now, if you've been listening for me on my channel for any length of time, you know that for the last couple of years, long before we had this Russia and China, not China, but long before we had an issue with Russia, I'd been saying for the longest that we needed to get friendlier with Venezuela so we could pump their oil instead of having to get oil from Saudi Arabia. Yes, it was nice for America to go energy independent or so forth and so on, as claimed energy independent by Donald Trump when he was president. However, I would have taken it further, because the thing that Trump didn't do that I would have done, that I've been saying all along, is that I would have opened up trade with Venezuela so that I could make it so we could pump Venezuelan oil. What a lot of people don't seem to understand is that Russia was sending us cheap oil. They were sending us like 600,000 barrels of oil a day. I had looked into this about a month before we had this issue with Russia invading Ukraine. They were sending us about 600,000 barrels of oil a day. By us trying to marginalize and cancel Russia, what we ended up doing was giving up natural gas, cheap oil, and cheap coal. Now, we don't need coal. We have West Virginia. China likes being able to buy cheap coal from Russia. Europe has been skating for years using cheap Russian oil, but they were stupid enough to listen to these dumbass globalist morons, these neocons here in America, and now Europe is going to freeze their asses off come winter because they no longer have access to that cheap Russian oil. So in a couple of minutes, the House of Representatives passed a bill along party lines Thursday that seeks to lower gas prices by cracking down on alleged price gouging. The House vote was 217 to 207. No Republicans supported the bill. Now, basically, this is chess politics. The Republicans know that having energy prices all screwed up is going to basically have people pissed off at the Democrats when they go to the elections this November. The Republicans argue that the reason why they won't support it is because price controls and allowing the Democrats to simply pass a bill to do price controls is basically socialist agenda, which I actually agree with them on that. But the real reason why the Republicans are doing this is it's simple chess. The longer the gas prices stay high, the more the Democrats will get blamed. And come November, we're going to vote the shit out of them, and they're all going to lose their jobs. So this is chess. The Republicans' districts are hurting just as much as the Democrat districts, but they know that they need things to get as bad as possible first in order to get everyone galvanized to kick these people out of office. Says the Consumer Fuel Price Gouging Prevention Act would grant the president authority to issue emergency energy proclamations and make it illegal to increase gas and energy prices in excessive exploited ways. So you know what that would do? That would basically screw up the entire oil gas market and the oil gas futures. That's basically what this would do. I don't believe that this is going to pass the Senate. Now, keep in mind, this was just the House. No Republicans are going to support it. The only way this passes is if the Democrats have enough power by themselves with no dissent to pass this bill in the Senate. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does happen, I'm going to sell my oil stocks immediately because that might cause fluctuations in the oil market. And it might cause it to go down, I should say. It says four House Democrats joined. Now look at this. 4 House Democrats joined Republicans in opposing the bill. Jared Golden of Maine, Lizzie Fletcher of Texas, Stephanie Murphy of Florida, and Kathleen Rice of New York. Wow. In the days leading up to the vote, it was unclear whether the legislation would have enough support to pass, and some moderate Democrats were frustrated with the bill. Murphy, for instance, in an interview with CBS News Wednesday, argued it did little to address the forces driving inflation, which, as you know, if you've listened to me and you've listened to just about anybody else who explains it, the reason why we have so many, the reason why inflation has risen so much is very simply because you have too much money in the system chasing too few goods. We took an entire year off of work under the COVID pandemic, and instead of forcing us to not spend money, they had us out there spending money. Where were we getting it from? They were printing welfare checks. And because you're putting too much money into the system, now you have inflation. The American people don't need political gimmicks. The Florida Congresswoman said they need actual relief, and there's a host of things that we can do that would deliver immediate relief for inflation issues. Well, I have a host of things that we could do for immediate relief of our energy problems. Number one, we could open up trade with Venezuela. And number two, we could stop these fucking bullshit sanctions on Russia because it ain't having no effect. Russia doesn't give a fuck. They're still going to flatten Ukraine, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Democrats in Texas, the nation's top energy-producing state, were also wary of the bill. Republican Vicente Gonzalez told CBS that he feared the legislation could be targeting the industry unfairly without proof of actual price gouging. Of course, there's no real price gouging. The real problem is inflation. That's the real problem. It just, seems like we're treating oil and gas like big tobacco. And by the way, all of those bills that were passed against big tobacco, I want you to think about it. These motherfuckers are still smoking. Not only are they smoking, they're smoking future Jetson cigarettes now where you vape every goddamn thing. So you never actually stopped people from smoking. You just made it more expensive for them to smoke. I see young people, I see old people, I see middle-aged people still fucking smoking. You would have thought that showing all those horrific pictures of your lungs being black and burned up and shit, you would have thought that would stop people. That shit didn't stop these motherfuckers. It's just, I've always said, nobody drinks Diet Coke. These people want the real deal. If you're going to give me diabetes, I want it to taste good. So anyway, and by the way, these people are also addicted to fentanyl. And taking that shit is a 50-50 chance between your heart and your lungs stopping. And these motherfuckers still take that shit. So that should tell you right there that these people are not conscious about their health. It just, seems like we're treating oil and gas like big tobacco. Democrat Representatives Katie Porter of California, Washington, Kim Schreier sponsored the bill and hailed its passage Thursday. Yeah, well, that shit's probably going to fail in the Senate. I'm a proud capitalist, and what we're experiencing with fuel prices is the result of a broken market, Porter said. Big oil executives are bragging to shareholders about price gouging and families at the pump. They're purposely keeping supply low to earn record profits, squeezing families and our entire economy in the process. Okay, that's it. So that's basically the news, people. Because the problem is if you watch CNN, they're going to say it one way. And if you watch Fox, they're going to say it another way. But there's only one way to say it, and that's the big truck way. So the reality is, first of all, the Federal Reserve fucked you over by pumping out these welfare checks, which I've been warning about all this time. Fortunately, we were able to get a lot of that money out of the system by getting these stupid idiot kids to invest in Robinhood and send that welfare money into the crypto market where it quickly disappeared. Bitcoin is under $30,000 right now. And the oil, $6. Could you imagine having to pay $6.69? I go to the store now, eggs, a carton of fucking eggs is damn near $5. I'm not sure how much milk is, but I think it's still $4.60 or something like that. Gallon of gas, $5.07. Babies aren't able to get baby formula, which means the women have to whip them titties out so that they can feed these poor babies. These babies need this milk. And by the way, let me say this, and I'll say this in closing almost. You have no idea what's in this formula shit. You have no idea what's in cow's milk. First of all, cow's milk is motherfucking hormones mixed with, what's that shit? All that stuff that they spray, pesticides. Because the cows are eating the grass that has pesticides in it. First of all, milk is designed to take a baby and make them grow towards, being a child or something, being bigger and heavier quickly. Cow's milk is designed to take a baby calf and grow it into a 2,000-pound cow or a 1,000-pound cow. Your children should not be drinking formula and fucking cow's milk. I mean, we're the only species in history that drinks milk of another species into our adulthood. And you people wonder why you've got cancer and you wonder why you're coming up with all these breast cancers and ovarian cancer. You're drinking fucking hormones. Now, women's human milk is obviously safe. In fact, I've heard that women who breastfeed lose weight faster after pregnancy because basically breast milk is fucking fat and calories. It's obvious. I mean, it's simple biology 101. Now, I know there's going to be somebody who's going to be like, oh, yeah, but all women can't breastfeed. You're being a misogynist. Women can't breastfeed. Well, guess what, ladies? In Japan, they have human breast milk, and they put it in cartons commercially available for babies. This is how they do it in healthy countries. You know, the Japanese... Now, here's a question. How many fat Japanese people have you ever seen? I haven't seen any. I've seen a couple of sumo wrestlers, but that was about it. The average Japanese grandma, her body is in better shape than your average 17-year-old high school girl. That's a shame. But when you really... I want you to walk into a corner store, and I want you to take a look at the shit they're selling these kids. I want you to take a look at the calories. 500 calories for 25 cents or 35 cents or $1 or something. They get Hostess cakes, cookies. These kids are drinking Red Bull in the morning. Red Bull just killed Kevin Samuels. These kids are drinking Red Bull. These kids are going into the little kids drinking fucking Red Bull. Like, what? And the stores sell it to them because there's no restrictions on this shit. It's not like buying alcohol. It's not like buying marijuana. Most of the corner stores in New York sell marijuana now. I can't make this shit up. But maybe, just maybe, this is a good time to reevaluate breast milk. But you know why you got all these feminists like, yeah, but the women can't breastfeed, you're being upset. You know why they're on that kick? It's very simple. It's because if women actually had to breastfeed and give their children, these young babies, this nourishing milk from human breast areolas, the nipples of the human woman, then that means that these women wouldn't be easily able to go into the workforce and they'd actually have to stay home. See, you got to understand what's happening here. The reason why America's falling behind is because we've abandoned the very basics of the natural family structure. The men are the ones out doing the difficult, dangerous, dirty jobs, and they're supposed to be bringing home the bacon to the woman who's in the household cooking and cleaning up until those kids grow old enough to go out on their own. And then if she wants a job, then she should go out and get a job. But so no. These women are on the mommy track. They've decided that what they're going to do is they're going to go get a job so that they can make their own bag and then try to make more money than their husband and compete with their husband. But guess what? Who's at home? Nobody's at home. Who's at home taking care of the baby? Nobody's at home taking care of the baby. So your kids grow up crazy and your kids grow up maladjusted and your kids grow up all depressed and shit. And that's assuming they grow up, because a lot of these kids delete themselves because they're so lonely because there's no mommy and there's no daddy at home. Because mommy and daddy are out competing so that they can drive the newest Mercedes or the newest Cadillac. That's the reason why your households are failing. That's the reason why your marriages are failing. That's the reason why your families are failing. So when you hear these people talking about, they're trying to replace us, they're going to replace us, you're absolutely right, because you're not productive. Let's think about Jesus and the fig tree. Jesus was hungry. He came across a fig tree. The fig tree, in fact, let me pull that up. So Jesus came across a fig tree. He came across the fig tree and he was hungry. And it bared no fruit. So you know what Jesus said? Jesus said, God damn this fucking tree. I'm hungry as fuck and this tree bears no fruit. So Jesus cursed that tree. You know why? Because it was unproductive. So when you talk about you're being replaced, yeah, there's a reason you're being replaced. It's because you're unproductive.